One of the banes of our lives, really, as account managers, is the amount of times we spend in meetings. And I wish that someone had sort of taught me through a system, a process, a model, or something to follow when I was either conducting meetings or calling meetings, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page. So I've put together a few tips that I found beneficial, and I hope you do too. So the first one is all about a model to follow as a sort of checklist to make sure that you've covered everything in preparation for the meeting. We call it the Palace model. So P of Palace is for preparation. So a preparation, we want to make sure that before the meeting we've got a very, very clear objective and that everybody understands what that objective is. There's nothing worse than being in a meeting thinking, why am I actually here? The second thing is attendees. Who's going to attend? And how many people should attend from each side, and most importantly, who shouldn't attend? Because not everybody needs to attend every meeting, because time is money, as we know as account managers. The other thing is to make sure that you balance the numbers. Now, many of the senior people know this, but if you're just starting out in account management and you're going to a client meeting, you want to make sure you understand who is actually going to be there and how many people from the agency should you take. And the rule of thumb is that never take more people along to the meeting than the client has. So if the client's got 2 people who are going to be there, never take more than 2, because you don't want to be seen to be bringing too many people, because the client knows that they're paying for your time and your efforts and the team. The other thing is to make sure that the timings are really well set. You know, what's going to be the convenient length of time for this meeting, and really, could we achieve the same outcome in a short period of time? The second thing is agenda. So sending a meeting appointment to hold that time in your client's diary, really make sure that everybody knows to keep that time free. And sending an agenda in advance is good practice. L is for logistics. So who's going to play what role and have what responsibility during the meeting? So maybe it's your job to open up the meeting and present the facts, the figures, something about the background, and then hand over to your client, to your colleague, who's then going to present maybe the work, the creative work, or the proposal. And then just on a really simple thing, like if the client's coming to your office, who's going to be the one getting the teas, getting the coffees, taking the coats, etc. And then who's going to be taking notes? So it should have one person dedicated to just making notes of what was agreed during that meeting, so that you can send a very quick follow-up in writing after the meeting. The other thing is obviously travelling to your meeting. If you're going to your client's office, then how are you going to get there, and leaving enough time so that you're not rushed and you don't do something silly like miss the train. And also when you're there, if it's really important to have a presentation on a PowerPoint, then take it in several formats. Take it on a memory stick, take it on on your hard drive, and then maybe take a hard copy as well. I know that's really a belt and braces approach, but I've actually been in several situations where the technology has broken down for one reason or another, and we've had to resort to talking the presentation through. So you probably better have a very good memory, or just take it in hard copy so you can follow the notes. The next A is agree timings and objectives up front. So when you're in the meeting, whoever's opening the meeting should just reiterate the reason why you're here. What was the objective you want to achieve? And also ensuring that everyone knows there's a hard stop at the end of the meeting, so you'll be finishing at whatever time. The C is for communication styles. So what's going to work best for this meeting? Now, in my account management success plan, we cover communication styles and social styles. What kind of communication style does your client have? And what kind of flow should you have, and how should you be communicating? So, for example, if your client is a driver, and drivers are very well known to be very task focused, then make sure you keep the points very succinct. Don't waffle on. Maybe take backup information, but do a summary, present a summary, because that really works well with a driver. So if you want to know more about that, then come along and join my account management success plan. Finally, the E for Palace is efficient follow-up. So who's going to follow up with the client to make sure that they know you have listened to everything that's been said, you've taken note of all the actions, you know exactly who's going to conduct what action or take what action and by when. And so the client will get a neat summary at the end. So I hope this has been really helpful. It's just one model called Palace that you can follow whenever you've got a meeting.